So one of the most difficult questions that we get asked here on YouTube is always this question of which camera should I buy? It's a really hard one to answer because we don't know exactly what it is that you need, what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. So what I want to do is I want to take a little bit of time and I want to look at these three in particular. Now there are other offerings out there by other camera brands, but these cameras are the budget offerings from Sony. It's their APS-C line, and that is the FX30, the a6700, and the ZVE10 Mark II. So if you're interested in Sony but you're on a budget, these are probably the ones that you're looking at. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at each of these cameras and talk about their differences, talk about their similarities, and try to figure out which one might be for you. First off, let's talk about prices of each of these cameras. Starting off with the cheapest, which is the Sony ZVE10 for just $1,000. For about $1,300 to $1,400, again, these cameras go on sale every so often, so I'm giving rough pricing here. $1,300 to $1,400 is the a6700, and finally is the FX30 at around $1,600 to $1,800, depending on when or where you buy it. So real quick, I just wanted to say I've got a little bit of an edit that I have to make here. All of these numbers that I'm talking about are pre-tariff. Unfortunately, all of the prices have jumped up by $100 to $200 per camera, which is a little frustrating. So I've recorded this before. I noticed that all the tariffs have gone into place. So just be aware that if you click on the links that are linked down below, the prices are going to be a little bit higher, but on Amazon and on B&H, there are lots of used prices there. And I think that's a perfectly fine place to purchase used gear. So make sure to check the used prices. So first off, what we're going to do is we're just going to look at the similarities because these cameras do share a lot of the same features. First off, they all share the same battery, which means that they're all going to function for the same sort of length of time. Now, in saying that, I do find that the FX30 chews through that battery just a little bit faster than the other two, but that is because it does offer the most and it does the most inside of the camera, which we're going to talk about later. But it's a great battery. The Sony Z100 battery is a fantastic one and it can last a decent amount of time. They're readily available. There's loads of offerings of different options that you can get. So that's a really good plus for all three of these cameras. Secondly, the lens mount. All three of these cameras share Sony's E-mount and an APS-C sensor, which means that all Sony APS-C lenses and all full frame lenses will work on all three of these cameras. So if there's a video that you've watched that you loved a certain lens on the Sony FX30, it will work on the ZVE10 and a6700 and vice versa. Now lastly, all three of these cameras share the same sensor, basically offering almost the same image quality. They're very, very similar. The color science on the FX30 I find to be just a little bit nicer, but overall they produce an almost identical image. And everything that you're watching right now has been filmed on these cameras. And again, the image quality out of them is almost indistinguishable. So if image quality is your concern, I would kind of write that off in this whole conversation because what these cameras offer differs far more than the image quality does. But the image quality I think is fantastic, and that's one of the most important things when you're buying a camera. You want to make sure that the image looks good, and I think it does in these. Even shots like this, which are done in the dark, right? This was 8000 ISO, which is pretty decent low light performance, especially for APS-C. So overall, great image quality. I do think all of these cameras are worth buying, but there are many differences. So first off, let's kind of go over who they're mainly targeted at. Okay, first off, let's talk about the Sony FX30, which is the most expensive offering. This stands apart from the other two, mainly in body design, because it has a beautiful, fantastic body design, which houses a lot of great features that the other cameras do not offer. This camera is aimed for videographers and videographers only. It is a video first cinema style camera. What that means is it's got built-in fans and it's tailored for video. The ergonomics, the hand holding, the body design, all of the mounting points, everything is designed for video. For photography, I mean, you might be able to snap some stills on this, but this is not designed for photography. This is designed for video specifically, and it does that fantastically well. This is my favorite video camera that I own, and I own some much more expensive cameras, but this is my go-to for all professional video work that I ever do, and all of my YouTube videos have all been filmed on this camera. Secondly, the Sony a6700 is the photography or hybrid style camera compared to the FX30. So they're almost the same. Actually, the a6700 has a couple of things that the FX30 doesn't, but we'll get over those in a second. The a6700 is a hybrid camera. It is designed for photography and videography, but primarily photography. It has a couple of features in here like mechanical shutters and an EVF that are especially helpful for photography, yet without sacrificing any of the image quality that you get out of the FX30. The only main difference here is the body design. You're going to miss out on a couple of features like full-size HDMI, active cooling, all of that kind of stuff. Lastly is the Sony ZVE10 Mark II. The ZV line is designed for vloggers, okay? So this is more designed for, you know, a budget approach to videography, not necessarily filmmaking necessarily, but for videography where you're just trying to get some nice clips it is video first. It can take photos as well, but I would say this is a video first camera, but it's missing a lot of the features of the FX30. So it's a little bit of a weird one to place because it is video first, but it's missing most of the key features that I love about the FX30. But again, still offers you that same amazing image quality for a much lower price. So if price to image quality is the only thing that you care about, then the ZVE10 might be the way to go, but we're gonna get there because there's a couple of things that it's missing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna quick fire through a couple of different little topics here and sort of give points to each camera as to, you know, first, second, and third place regarding that specific topic. And in the end, you can decide which one of these you think is going to be right for you. First off, as this is a relatively hot topic right now, no pun intended, overheating. Which of these cameras, if you're super concerned about overheating, should you get? Blatant answer, FX30. This camera has never overheated on me, probably will never overheat because it is designed to film for incredibly long times in extreme conditions, extreme heat, all that kind of stuff. This is designed for video. Now, secondary, this one is a hard one to place because most of the videos that I've watched have said that the a6700 has more problems with overheating than the ZVE10 does. In my experience though, I've never had this camera overheat, the a6700, but I have had the ZVE10 Mark II overheat. Overheating is one of those weird ones. I'm going to put both of these in third place because the FX30 is just so much better than these two when it comes to overheating, but that is expected. If you purchase a hybrid style camera, one designed for photography and videography, or one in a hybrid style body, you will get overheating in video. That is just how this works. The active cooling, the built-in fan, the body design of cinema cameras is specifically designed to deal with things like overheating. Secondly, let's talk about accessories. So most people like to accessorize their cameras, whether it's adding cages or other maybe audio accessories, stuff like that. Again, I'm going to give first place to the Sony FX30 because it has an insane ecosystem of accessories that you can attach to this camera. Never mind the XLR handle, which is one of my absolute favorites, meaning you can plug really high quality XLR microphones straight into the camera. Most other cameras have pretty bad preamps in them, and I recommend recording externally. The FX30 and the FX line of cameras have fantastic preamps in my opinion. I think they work really well for most use cases. So I love the accessories available for the FX30. Not just because of the FX30, but everything that's available for the FX3 is also available for the FX30 because they share the same body, just meaning that there's a massive ecosystem for them. Secondly, is probably the a6700. There's a lot of really great cage options. There's a lot of other accessories you can add to this camera. It's been around a little bit longer than the ZVE10 Mark II and has the most amount of stuff available for it. And in third place, I'm going to go with the ZVE10 Mark II. It's strange, there's not a massive amount of options when it comes to accessories for this camera. There's like a couple of cages available and you know, that's kind of about it. You know, you can obviously plug in audio accessories and stuff like that, which you can do with all of these cameras. But I do think that when it comes to accessorizing your camera and getting sort of things to add onto it, the ZVE10 would be in last place for me. Next, let's talk about autofocus for photo and video. In first place, we're going to go with the a6700 on this one because it has Sony's most recent AI autofocusing chip, which works great. It is absolutely incredible. The autofocus on this camera is stellar. Highly recommend it. At second place, I'm going to put the Sony FX30. I've never had a single issue with autofocus on this camera. The a6700 is a little bit more future-proof, but the FX30 is still a fantastic option when it comes to autofocus. And in third place, I'm going to put the ZVE10 Mark II. This might be a weird one because the ZVE10 Mark II I thought was supposed to have the same autofocus as the FX30, but depending on the lenses that I've put on this, I've had some pretty big problems with autofocus on this camera. That may be specific to my unit, but whenever I'm using some third-party lenses, especially more telephoto ones, like I have a 135mm that I use on this quite a lot. It really struggles sometimes. I get some pretty crazy hunting. But I haven't seen other people have that problem. So please take that with a grain of salt. Look at other reviews. Always watch multiple reviews when you're making a camera decision. But for me, I'm going to put the ZVE10 Mark II in third place. Okay, third, let's talk about video features, and then we're going to get into features. But video features, FX30 is obviously going to win. It has all of the features that all of these other cameras have, plus a lot more. You got full-size HDMI, which is absolutely fantastic if you're ever going to rig up a camera. It has USB-C power delivery without any overheating, which is nice. And it has USB-C out to a computer that you can use as your webcam. This is a fantastic streamer camera, quite an expensive one, but a fantastic option. It also has dual SD card slots, which this is relevant for photography as well. But you got two SD card slots here that it takes CF Express Type A and SD cards. So in that sense, it offers the most. And again, the body is just designed for video. It is what it is designed for. So the Sony FX30 is obviously going to take first place. It's got great stabilization, great image quality, great all around. It's just really, really good. Second is going to be the a6700. Again, a fantastic camera, shares almost everything with the FX30. It's got the same stabilization, it's got the same image quality, all that kind of stuff. What it's lacking is going to be full-size HDMI. It only has one SD card slot, but it does have slightly better autofocus. So it's a close second, but it is going to experience more overheating, and the things like full-size HDMI, the active cooling, all that kind of stuff, the body design just has that FX30 taking the lead. So a6700 in second place. And again, in third place is the Sony ZVE10. Now, when it comes to video image quality for price to performance, this would be in first place, but we're going to talk about price a little bit later. So this camera comes in third place. It's lacking a lot of stuff in here. It doesn't have IBIS, which I think is a very strange thing to leave out, especially at $1,000. It's missing IBIS. It also only has one SD card slot, and it has micro HDMI, and it's prone to overheating. So I'm going to put this one relatively firmly in third place for video. One thing real quick, I understand that the ZVE10 is getting third place a lot. It's also the cheapest, so please keep that in mind. But also, third place doesn't mean it's a bad camera, it just means these are better. So please do keep that in mind. Next, photography. First place, a6700 by a mile. It's got a mechanical shutter. It is designed for photography. It's got an EVF, so none of these other cameras have an EVF on there. So, you know, this just works fantastic for photography. Definitely, if you're photography first, out of all of these three cameras, just get the a6700. I'm happy to just make that as a firm statement out of these three cameras. I'm going to actually give the second place to the ZVE10 Mark II because the FX30 doesn't actually have anything over the ZVE10 Mark II when it comes to photography, but the ZVE10 Mark II is a lot smaller and easier to carry around, so depending on how you want to do your photography, this is going to work great. And then in third place, let's put the FX30. Again, it's just designed for video, so use it for video. Next, let's just talk about specs. I'm going to put the FX30 and a6700 both in first place here. They both offer the same video features, 4K up to 120. Great image quality. The FX30 has a bit of a lead with video, whereas the a6700 obviously has those photography features that are going to be better. So I'm going to tie those in first place. And in third place again, let's just put the Sony ZVE10. It doesn't have 4K 120. It doesn't have a mechanical shutter, and it's just missing, and it doesn't have IBIS. It's missing the most, but it's also got that lower price point. But let's just talk about price point real quick, because let's talk about price to performance of everything that you get out of these cameras. In first place, this is a really hard one to do, honestly. This is a really hard one to place. I kind of want to tie these both for first place. I do prefer, I think for me personally, the FX30 is worth it any day over any of these other cameras. But you know what, in some ways I also want to put the a6700 in first place because it does offer the most for the price to performance. For only like $1,300 or $1,400, this camera offers almost everything that the FX30 does, plus all of its photography features, and a lot more than the ZVE10 does. The only difference is going to be the body design, full-size HDMI if you need that, and then the overheating. So if those aren't a problem to you, then the a6700 is going to be in a firm first place for you. I think it's just a fantastic offering. It's got the IBIS, it's got the great image quality, it's got 4K 120 if you need it, it's got everything, right? Joint first / maybe a very close second is going to be the FX30, just because, you know, if you're wanting to do hybrid work, you're not really going to be able to do that with this camera. If you're video first, if your focus is video only, FX30 all day. I'm going to keep saying that. FX30 all day. It's just better for video than any other option, but a lot of people like to do hybrid work. So, but this one it just does fantastic. I think it is incredibly well priced. $1,700 for this camera is, I think, an absolute bargain. I think it's really, really good. I know it seems like a lot because you can probably get some full frame cameras for that, but everything that this offers, the body design, the full-size HDMI, the active cooling, the image stabilization, all of this stuff, plus the XLR handle, it's great. Now, to be fair, the XLR handle is a little bit extra, but that to the side, this is just a great camera for the money. Lastly, at the cheapest out of all of them, at just under $1,000, is the ZVE10 Mark II. Now I'm going to put this in third place. Because even though it is the cheapest, and it still offers the same image quality, what it lacks when it comes to IBIS and mechanical shutter, I think is not worth the $300 less that you pay for this camera over the a6700. I think having IBIS, a mechanical shutter, an EVF, those three things alone, also 4K 120, those four things for only $300 extra, I think is far more valuable to most people. Now, if all you can afford is $1,000, depending on where you are in the world, right? Different parts of the world are going to have different economies, different expectations for how much is too much to spend on camera gear, and also depending on where you're at in your profession. If you're a brand new beginner, then maybe the ZVE10 is right for you. Or maybe even you should go with the original ZVE10, the Mark 1, because you can get it for even cheaper, like $500 or $600. So if you're an absolute beginner and you're thinking, well, I'm going to upgrade in a couple of years anyway, so I don't want to spend too much now, which I think is a reasonable thought to have, then yeah, maybe the ZVE10 Mark II is right for you. But overall, my top pick is going to be these two. If you're a hybrid shooter, if you're going to do any sort of photography at all and video, a6700 all day long. If you're video first and all you care about is video and that's what you're excited to do, FX30 all day long. If you're on an incredibly low budget and you're trying to get the highest image quality possible and you're not too concerned about the cons that this camera has, then yeah, the ZVE10 Mark II. But as you can probably tell throughout this video, the one that I recommend the least out of all three of these is going to be the ZVE10 Mark II, unfortunately. A6700 the most versatile, FX30 the most professional when it comes to video. Anyway, this has been a big ramble, so I'm going to leave it at a ramble. And if you've enjoyed it, I would appreciate you let me know what your thoughts are about these three cameras in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit the like button, drop a comment, or maybe even subscribe as we continue to build this channel. I appreciate all of you for doing so, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.